Hello and welcome to another video tutorial here on understanding body language, lies, cheats and happy feet. So this morning I've got a video from the Dr. Conrad Murray trial, which is taking place in America at the moment. So I'm just going to run through a couple of things and see if we can spot anything untoward. So the first one I've got for you is by Richelle Cooper. Who's an ER doctor who apparently saw Michael Jackson in the emergency room. So let's just blow this up slightly and let's just press play and let's see if we can spot anything.
So at 12:57, you knew in this case nothing could be done.
Based on the information I had, I felt a pronouncement of death in the field was appropriate at that time, yes.
Okay, rightio. So first thing I notice here is
12:57.
this guy makes the same pacifying gestures as Prince Charles does here in Great Britain, and that's by fiddling with his cufflinks. If you ever get a chance to see any videos by Prince Charles, you'll notice that his favourite gesture is this one.
It's because Dr.
It's a
Murray
pacifier.
insisted.
And it makes you look slightly confident when you're talking, when you're fiddling with that. So that's why he uses that particular one. So if you look at it,
is that correct?
if he had his hands just nice and straight and stoic, it wouldn't give as much confidence. But this little gesture here, it's not bad.
But you don't give up.
So that has definitely been coached.
I don't know if I would word it that way.
Now what's interesting here is we've got a pattern forming. If we look back to the start of this video, watch this lady's eye movements.
Nothing could be done.
Up and
Based on
right.
the information I had, I felt a pronouncement of death in the field was appropriate at that time, yes.
So see up and right eye movements.
The only
We see pacifying gestures
Dr.
here.
Murray insisted that you don't give up. Is that correct?
And we see up and right again.
I don't know if I would word it that way, because as the base physician, I could override and still pronounce. However, there was a physician on scene, and then I had potentially...
So again, we see up and right eye movements, which in the NLP terms is called visually constructed imagery for a right-handed person. However, the way she's delivering and the way she's talking doesn't sound to me like she's creating anything. This is like it's all coming from memory.
And so, yes,
Now then, she could be left-handed.
Did authorize and allow Dr. Murray to assume control and then bring the patient to the emergency department or the local emergency department. So yes.
You basically felt when Michael Jackson was brought in, everything's going to be futile anyway. Is that correct?
My assessment when he arrived.
So again, we're seeing a pattern here. Look at that. To recall information for this lady, her eyes have got to go up and right.
Correct.
So it's very interesting,
My
that.
assessment when he arrived was that he was clinically dead. And given it had been now from the...
So with that facial expression, clinically dead, that is 100% the truth what she said there. She doesn't flash anything else.
I had is the prior time of rest from the code in the base station form. It was about an hour, such that...
So again, eyes up and right.
Likely be futile.
When they brought him into the hospital and you actually got to use your own senses and eyes, you knew right then there's no chance, didn't you?
When Mr. Jackson...
So that's an example of a false start, and again we're seeing a pattern of here recalling information by eyes going
to the hospital, Dr. Murray reported that he had felt a faint pulse, which conflicted the information from the paramedics. I therefore, yes, decided that it was going to be my decision to make sure that everything had been done, was done correctly, was not misrecorded, and that with effort there was no change. So, yes, I used my determination of what I saw to make a final decision.
And I confirmed the original.
So moving on now to Conrad Murray.
That you made
And I'm sure you'll see a lot of that particular facial expression there, which we'll cover shortly.
Yes.
Okay, thank you Variety and News for that video. Okay, so the next video I've got here is from As It Happens Live. So again, thank you very much for this particular video. Let me just click this button here.
With the lorazepam, created a perfect storm.
Okay, so this is from one of the first few days of the trial.
Killed him instantly.
At one point, Dr. Murray was moved to tears by talk of his relationship with Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
So what we can clearly see here now is the bottom lip starting to quiver.
Michael Jackson would share with him things about his childhood, about his family.
There we go.
The jury was then
so we're seeing there flashes of sadness from Conrad Murray. However, the facial expression that we see a lot of throughout this trial is this one here. You'll have seen this particular facial expression flashed all around the news.
At one point, Dr. Murray was moved.
Let's just see if I can scoot back. There you go. It's just that particular facial expression there. So we're seeing, we don't see a lot of micro expressions from Dr. Conrad Murray. We do see a lot of this particular expression, which you don't need me to decode really. It's sadness. We can see the lips depressed in the corners here. We can see the lines underneath the eyes. We're seeing not necessarily flashes of sadness, but we're seeing macro expressions of sadness. Now, we don't know what he's sad about. He could be sad about what he's hearing about how the passing of Michael Jackson, or he could be sad about the impending punishment if he's found guilty. He could feel shame and guilt, but he's not flashing it on his face. He's flashing sadness at the moment, but just because he's flashing sadness, it doesn't necessarily... we don't know what he's necessarily feeling sad about, if you know what I mean. So his facial expressions here, he's not making any. It's all pretty much stoic at the moment. And it's an interesting trial, this. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. So just moving back to this particular this particular lady here.
It's because Dr. Murray.
So we're seeing again. So he's seen the use of the pacifying gestures by that chap there.
Is that correct?
So we're seeing visually constructed imagery potentially going up and right, but that's not indicative of deception. I'm not a big fan of eye movements in relation to recalling information, but we certainly see a pattern here with this lady eyes going up and right, which is very interesting. But it sounds to me like she's telling the truth. I see no signs that she's lying or being deceptive. So it's I'm going to keep an eye on the trial and see if we can spot anything else at a later date. But it's interesting. So, but at the moment I'm getting quite a lot of emails telling me that Michael Jackson's still alive. I turned my computer on this morning and I had 7 new emails in my inbox telling me that Michael's actually still alive and I shouldn't be making these videos. I'm not quite sure what evidence people have got to suggest that Michael's still alive. I'm baffled by this because this is a trial about his death. This is this is in a court of law. We've seen pictures of Michael. We've also seen the pictures of him dead. I've seen the death certificate. The body language of all his friends, his family suggests that he died at the funeral. There is no evidence I can see that Michael's still alive. Unfortunately, he sadly passed away in 2009. Unfortunately, that's just a fact of life. So I see no suggestions at all by any of these videos that Michael's still alive. And I hope I don't give the impression that he is, because in my professional opinion and my personal opinion, that Michael Jackson died. He's gone, but his legacy and his music lives on. I hope these videos try and persuade people to look at Michael in a different light, because there was a lot of negative press associated with Michael Jackson around the Martin Bashir area and the Tom Sneddon area, and he got a lot of bad press. So what these videos I'm trying to do is trying to show people what Michael Jackson was really like, and show what his body language was like and how it represented honesty 9 times out of 10. So with that in mind, if you'd like to learn more about body language, please check out my Understanding Body Language page on Facebook. All you've got to do is just type in Understanding Body Language Liars, Cheats and Happy Feet. My Facebook page pops up on there. I'm also on Twitter. If you go on to @BodyLanguage UK, just click the link on there underneath this video. And there you go. So with that in mind, that's Conrad Murray taken care of here. I might do a few more videos of him if I see any more expressions of him, but at the moment that is the particular facial expression we're just seeing from Conrad Murray all the time. He's not flashing any emotion on the face. The only macro emotion he's flashing at the moment is sadness, but again, we don't know what he's feeling sad about. Only he knows that at the moment. So we'll have to see how this pans out. So with that in mind, hope you enjoyed that video tutorial here on Understanding Body Language Liars, Cheats and Happy Feet. Please try and share these videos as much as you can around the Michael Jackson community. I'd be very grateful. So, take care and bye-bye for now.